Hello there. How are you? I hope you're having a great day. Today, I want to talk about the self-awareness around through the eyes of others. So often I've asked this question. I've also had this question asked of me when I used to interview for corporate roles. And the question usually goes something like this: how would your boss or your colleagues describe you? Um, and it really is a test about your awareness of yourself through the eyes of others. So many of us have challenges exhibiting certain awareness of ourselves. And I've seen people often answer this question with, when I ask the question in an interview, how would your boss or your colleagues describe you? Their answer is, oh, great. They think I'm awesome, all of those type of things. Now, that is not going to be true all of the time. None of us are perfect all of the time. There are moments when we have challenges with our colleagues, our peers, and they probably have challenges with us. But what you want to do to prepare for this question is to make sure you have done some personal research. And one of the best ways to do that is to actually ask the people around you, family, friends, colleagues, what they consider to be your greatest strengths and your greatest weaknesses. Ask them those questions and sit back and listen to the answers without being defensive, because you may be surprised at what you learn. For example, I know for myself, I've often seen myself as an impatient person. So that's a weakness of mine. I've considered that to be a weakness of mine. I've asked around my colleagues and my family friends, and many of them would agree that that is true. But then there's been, the handful of people or some people who say, no, actually, I don't see that as impatience. I see you as really focused, really wanting to get a result and not wanting to waste time. So that's a whole different way of looking at what can be considered a almost negative personality trait, right? Or sometimes you can be someone who is so focused on what you're doing, who wants an outcome, that you're not aware that other people aren't on the same page or that they may move at a slower pace. So in that instance, you consider yourself to be focused, results-driven, get things kind of done person, a mover and a shaker. But depending on who you're around, they could consider that as someone who pushes too hard, who's not aware of other people's feelings, who's not aware of the pace that other people move at, and who wants to force their will and their way of doing things on those people, right? So it really depends on the situation. And I think it's a good idea to get insight from a broad spectrum. And one of the best ways you can do that is to ask people and tell them you need honest feedback, right? Honest feedback, so that you know where your strengths and weaknesses lie, and you give people an opportunity, particularly colleagues, your bosses, your co-workers, an opportunity to give you insight into how they see you. And then you can answer that question as honestly as you possibly can in an interview, always talking about what you've learned through the process. It's a good way to do that research. Give it a shot and see how you go.